If only I could eat that, folks. You know what that is? You know what it is? Have another look. What is it? Well, for me, it's an ornamental plant, but it's actually quite edible. A lot of cultures around the world eat it. Actually, my mum used to cook it too, many, many moons ago, not anymore. It's an artichoke. Now, this is not the wild artichoke. This is the calm, or the imero in Greek, as we say. It's the more placid. It hasn't got any spines or thorns all over it, like the mosquitoes have all over me at the moment. Plague proportions at the moment. Now, I'm growing some artichokes here for those who want to know what these have been, because I've been walking around them in the past and never spoken about it. That's because I do very little with them. And what I need to do is actually top them up, because the first time I planted them using our planting mix 2 years ago, these were doing tremendously well. Now, they're very tolerant to dry, arid conditions, but not in a grow bag like this. So they can get to the point where they can get cooked by the sun as well if they can't have moisture from the surrounding soil getting into it. Now, in the grow bag here, because it's also about the microclimate, the positioning of them, in the past I actually had them on the east side of this garden bed. How are you, Vader? And that afternoon sun would blare on them. And if we go back 3 years ago, some of you may not remember, but we were going through a very dry spell in summer, spring and summer. It was stinking hot and everything was struggling, and we started talking about mulching and things like that. But here at the moment, you can see I've got very little mulch in my garden beds, only in the pathway, because the heat hasn't really come up yet. Slowly, I'll start top dressing my plants with mulch, and these plants here as well need to be top dressed, but not just with mulch. They actually need to be fed, because you can see the discoloration from the excessive rain that we had. And back then, when they first planted them, as I started off earlier in the planting mix, plenty of nutrients. 2 years it's been since I've actually fed these plants. I've let them dry out completely, and they keep coming back strong again. Now, you'll see these out in the wild growing there, but do not approach them, well, approach them if you want to, but with caution, because they'll have a lot of spines on them, all up the stem and on the leaves as well. Very dangerous to handle, and you've got to be super careful. We had them on the back block where there were paddocks at the back of our fish and chip shop in Killor Park. Some of you may know that one there, the old Foster's Road. Now you'll remember who I am if you're trying to put a name to the face. Now, at the back there, it was all paddocks before the housing estate went up there, and wild artichokes were growing there just prolifically. And Mum would ask me to go over there and collect the heads, because she'd bake them. She'd pull them apart, bake them, put a bit of cheese and sauce in them to soften them up in the oven, wrap them up with a bit of foil and things like that. Many different recipes you can try. Now, for me to get out there, it was a challenge and a nightmare, because I'd come back all pricked and well, not bruised, but bleeding, because it was so delicate to handle, even the flower itself. Now, you can grow them in a grow bag, and you can see the slightly different forms, because we've got many different, well, actually, all these are different varieties of artichokes. So there's different types of them. You can see the flower head, how different it is from that one there. Oh, this one here, this one's got little pricks on it. That little plant it is. I just stabbed myself. Whereas the first one, as you saw, nice round globe artichoke, perfect. That has got no spines on it, really easy to handle. Now, if it's got it on the flowers, has it got it on the leaves? Oh, I've just broken one. That's a good thing about it. You can break them away and they'll come good. Again, very thin looking, very pale. You can see that. And they do multiply at the base. You can see the old bulb there. It's dried out. That's a back bulb. But you'll always have new ones spreading up from the side. Now, what we're going to do, mark today's date that you're watching it. Hopefully it's the same day that we've uploaded it. We're going to feed these and monitor the progressiveness of these plants and the health of these plants in the coming weeks to see how well they change. And what I'm feeding them with is our planting mix, which has got our 8 ingredients. Potatoes are finishing off here because they got a lot of water, and the spinach is almost bolted on me because I haven't finished harvesting in the garden, and that's what happens here, folks. I planted about 50 plants. That's what happens. Anyway, so the planting mix. This is nice and moist. Well, it's moist because it's been raining as we've been blending it out on site. It's not under cover. And we're going to put a few handfuls around it, just like that, folks. It doesn't need anything more. You don't have to dig it in. As we said, 8 ingredients: compost, castings, black grit, superfood, cow manure, worm castings, I said yes, cocoa pith. I can't remember anything else. What was that again? And charcoal too. Yeah, there we are. Nice little dressing. You know what? This stuff smells really good too, folks. If you like the smell of cow manure and charcoal and compost, and hey, you like the smell of that too, Vader? Smells good, huh? Just going to top up this one here, folks. Our planting mix is available. We don't sell artichokes, but all good garden centres do. Renaissance Herbs, that's the range. Have a look at them if you want to grow some in your garden, or grow them in a pot. It actually contains them, because these can get quite large. They will get quite large, and now that I've given them a feed, we're going to have bigger artichokes to grow. So monitor this in the next coming couple of weeks or coming days or weeks, whatever it's going to take. We'll see how much they change, how much bigger the leaves are, and how well it improves. Vasili'sGarden.com for all your gardening essentials, up to 75% off. Our spring run-out sale is still on, folks. Don't miss out. We're closing to the end of the springtime, so get everything you need at heavily discounted prices. Click and collect available from Coburg and Lethbridge. From me, Vasili, Maresi, and if you're watching this as we've uploaded it, come down to the store. I'll be there Saturday and Sunday to help and greet and meet and sell you whatever I can. Just to help, Maresi.